Welcome to this explainer. If you're a developer, and especially if you're kind of just starting out, you absolutely know the struggle of writing custom UI boilerplate from scratch, right? It's a nightmare. You want your cross-platform apps to look super modern and native, but then you end up wrestling with messy design code for literally hours just to style a simple drop-down menu. It's such a huge time sink. Well, today, we are skipping that headache entirely. We're jumping right into a beginner-friendly tutorial on a component called B4XDaisySelect. This little lifesaver brings stunning cross-platform UI design right into your B4X projects. Okay, let's dive into this really quickly. We're going to meet B4XDaisySelect, check out the DaisyUI connection, break down the actual anatomy of the dropdown, figure out how it beats that notoriously annoying scrolling problem, and finally get you ready to use it in your app. All right, section 1. Meet B4XDaisySelect, basically the hero of native UI. So, look, in the plain, honestly kind of blocky world of basic app design, getting a sleek, interactive dropdown usually means importing massive libraries, or worse, writing endless custom views yourself. But B4XDaisySelect, it does all that heavy lifting for you. Just look at the default base dropdown here, with those crisp hover states, or that vibrant primary variant in purple, which is perfect for a text editor choice, and that super clean secondary variant. I mean, this proves exactly why learning this component matters right off the bat. You get these gorgeous web-like aesthetics natively in your app, instantly. It anchors that professional look of your UI without any of the hassle. So what exactly is it? Well, B4XDaisySelect is a standalone native view layer providing highly customizable web-like drop-down menus for cross-platform apps, and it does it without messy dependencies. And for the beginners out there, that standalone part, absolutely crucial. It basically means you don't need a dozen other files or complex external libraries to make it work. It handles its own visual layer beautifully and totally cleanly. Moving right along to section 2, the DaisyUI connection. Designing with tokens. Now you might be wondering, how does it achieve that modern web feel natively? Well, it does it by piping DaisyUI aesthetics, which is a hugely popular web framework, directly into the native B4X environment using design tokens. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer range of capabilities you get right out of the box. Notice how the colors intuitively communicate state. You've got a green success outline, a yellow warning, and a red error state. And right below that, it scales perfectly from medium to extra large sizes. On the other side, we see even more functionality. We're talking disabled states that grayed out cleanly, programmatic selections, and those incredibly helpful LabelAbove and HintText additions. They just make your form so accessible and user-friendly. And the absolute best part? Configuring all those gorgeous visuals is beautifully simple. Mercifully, you don't have to write a single line of CSS. None. Instead, you just use powerful designer properties right inside the B4X Visual Designer. You literally just select a variant color, like Ghost, Primary, or Error, from a drop-down menu. You pick a size scaling like MD, LG, or XL, type in your placeholder and hint text, and tweak the DaisyUI corner radius tokens to match your app's overall theme. You can even set the maximum drop-down rows before the menu starts scrolling. It's a total game changer. Section 3, Anatomy of the Dropdown. We are baking the UI layer cake. Okay, so we know what it looks like and exactly how to configure it visually, but how is it actually built? Now, what's really interesting about this is that B4XDaisySelect builds its own visual layer. There is zero dependency on B4XDaisy input. It borrows some structural methodologies from other inputs, sure, but it stands completely on its own. It's just a really clean, incredibly modular piece of code. To make this abstract code feel a bit more tangible, think of the architecture as a 3-layer cake based on Z-order. When you interact with it, here is exactly what happens. First, you have layer 1, the trigger. This is the topmost surface panel holding the text and the little chevron arrow that you actually click. When you click it, it summons the other 2 layers. In the middle, layer 2, you have the dropdown, which is the panel displaying your actual scrollable options. And finally, sitting at the very bottom, layer 3 is the overlay. This is an invisible, full-screen layer that exists purely to capture your clicks outside the menu, allowing the whole dropdown to dismiss cleanly when you tap away. Makes total sense, right? Let's hit section 4. Beating the scrolling problem with some touch event magic. Look, every developer journey has its trials, and if you have ever done mobile development, you know the absolute technical nightmare of handling nested scroll imports. Let me pose a pretty common scenario to you. What happens when a user tries to scroll a 50-item list that exists inside an app page that is already scrolling? Usually, absolute chaos. The outer page scroll view intercepts the drag, it steals the touch event from your drop-down menu, and when the user tries to scroll the options, the whole page moves instead. Your drop-down is just left completely frozen. It's a massive UX failure. But B4XDaisySelect solves this entirely behind the scenes by abstracting all of that heavy lifting. The code actually walks up the view tree to resolve the topmost ancestor, which is usually the very root of your app page, and hosts the drop-down pop-up there, completely outside the confines of the page's scroll view. While the menu is open, it intelligently disables parent scrolls temporarily. This allows the inner scroll view of your drop-down to scroll perfectly cleanly. And then, when the user makes a choice and the menu closes, it seamlessly re-enables all parent touches. Seriously, it is pure touch event magic for the user experience. Section 5. Ready for your app, the Developer API. Let's move to the resolution and see how this spills out. We want to equip you with the exact commands you need to bring this to life in your own code. So the crucial point here is how incredibly simple the public API really is. To populate your dropdown with options, you simply pass a map of key value pairs to set items. You can programmatically pick an option using setSelectedIndex. When a user makes a choice, a selected changed event fires, and you can grab their exact underlying choice with getSelectedValue. You can also just add a single item with distinct text and value using addItem. It literally takes away all the friction of data handling. We've explored the stunning design tokens, that super clever layer cake architecture, the touch event magic that absolutely solves nested scrolling, and of course, the incredibly straightforward API. B4XDaisySelect truly is a masterclass in cross-platform UI components. So, I'm going to leave you with this thought. With all this heavy lifting already done for you, how will you upgrade your app's UI today? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, everyone. Go build something beautiful.